Stephen A. Smith. Whoa, what just happened to Stephen A. Smith, man? Once again, the woke is turning on the woke. Just incredible. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Stephen A. Smith getting burned by Monica McNutt and woke Twitter for comments that he made about the WNBA on First Take yesterday. Apparently, First Take spent 40 minutes talking about the WNBA yesterday, and Stephen A. Smith gave credit to himself for covering the WNBA more than anyone else in the sports media world. However, Monica McNutt took offense to that statement by getting over emotional about the lack of coverage the WNBA has received in past seasons. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith or Monica McNutt? Unfortunately, for the people that are looking for me to hate on Stephen A. Smith, I am going to disappoint y'all and say that I am going to side with Stephen A. Smith in this debate over Monica McNutt. I thought Stephen A. Smith made a lot of solid points when talking about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA yesterday on First Take. Look, the math is pretty simple when it comes to profits in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being in the WNBA helps their product more than hurts their product. And you look at how Caitlin Clark has actually helped the WNBA generate profits for the first time in forever. And you look at how the WNBA has been in existence for 30 years and they have failed to turn in a profit until this season. That is because Caitlin Clark is a very marketable player, and common sense would tell you that Caitlin Clark is the number one reason why the WNBA has been less trash than what it has been in past seasons. But we all know at the end of the day that the WNBA does not think with logic. We all know that the WNBA thinks with emotion, and when you're filled with racial idolatry all over the place, you're going to come to stupid conclusions, which is exactly what Monica McNutt did on First Take. In fact, Monica McNutt took shots at Stephen A. Smith for not covering the WNBA enough. Before I ramble on too much longer though about what Monica McNutt said to Stephen A. Smith, I would rather show you guys what Monica McNutt had to say to Stephen A. Smith on First Take. You had Stephen A. Smith turning into Stephen A. Simp on the matter. Roll the film.
Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we gotta go. You guys.
So did you say
you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen
us?
A., I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right, let's.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
I got it.
Guys, I really appreciate.
You're my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take. You missed a lot.
Stephen A., 3 years ago, you were not talking about the W at this level. Don't do that.
Guys.
Nobody was, Monica. You making Stephen A.'s point, Monica. Monica, you making Stephen A.'s point.
Please let me do my job. Please let me do my job. We've gone for 40 minutes straight. It was a riveting discussion. I have to get in a commercial break.
Wow. I mean, freaking wow. Talk about stupidity being aired on First Take. As far as what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the WNBA, yeah, I agree with every single point that he made for the most part. Other than him being a simp towards the end, I thought he should have fought back to Monica McNutt harder than what he did. I thought he acted too much like a simp towards the end there because he went too much into silence and basically let her keep talking. If I was in Stephen A. Smith's position, I would have just cut off Monica McNutt and asked for her credentials in terms of covering basketball, because we all know that Monica McNutt has a limited knowledge of knowing the game of basketball. Anybody that has common sense realizes that the WNBA has failed to turn in a profit once in 30 years. And you look at how Caitlin Clark has finally made the WNBA somewhat relevant on a national level, and she's not even willing to give Caitlin Clark credit, all because Caitlin Clark is a white girl that refuses to be woke, which is something you can't say about most of the WNBA. What have I always said about the WNBA? I've always said that the WNBA is filled with woke players, they're filled with woke coaches, and they're filled with woke analysts and woke sports talkers. And this is a classic example of a WNBA analyst being a woke person. Honestly, we all know Monica McNutt to be a DEI hire at ESPN. She is not here on ESPN because she knows the game of basketball very well. We all know that Monica McNutt was hired because she was a black woman, and anytime you're a black woman at ESPN, of course you're going to get hired on the spot. That's why Monica McNutt has the platform to go on First Take and spew out a bunch of stupid talk when talking about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. I think most of the people in the WNBA are mad that Caitlin Clark has become the face of the WNBA, all because she is a white player. And that's why I said on yesterday's show that Caitlin Clark is the modern day Jackie Robinson. I said that yesterday because you look at how people are treating Caitlin Clark quite harshly for being an outsider to what a typical WNBA player looks like, which is something that Jackie Robinson went through back in the 1940s in Major League Baseball. And you look at how Jackie Robinson, he transformed the game at the MLB level because he was a black player that succeeded in the MLB despite having to deal with many racisms that were coming towards his way. You look at how Caitlin Clark has to deal with reverse racism. It's all because she's a white player from Iowa and she refuses to be a lesbian and she refuses to spew out woke talk. And obviously, when you don't do that in the WNBA, yeah, people are going to get angry at you. And that's why I'm pointing out that Monica McNutt has a hidden agenda when attacking Caitlin Clark and Stephen A. Smith. Look, I'm no defender of Stephen A. Smith. I've been ripping Stephen A. Smith several times on my YouTube channel over the last several months. You guys can check my YouTube archives for that. But I'm going to defend Stephen A. Smith on this point because I thought he made a lot of solid points when talking about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. As far as why the WNBA wasn't being talked about 3 years ago, who gave a shit about the WNBA 3 years ago? The WNBA 3 years ago was a no-name league that basically nobody knew about. But now you look at the WNBA, now it's a somewhat well-known league and most people know what the WNBA is. I know it's actually called the Women's National Basketball Association, but on this channel I love to call the WNBA the Woke National Basketball Association because it is filled with basketball players that are woke all the time. You think about how most of the faces of the WNBA are filled with black players that tend to spew out a bunch of woke talking points. It also helps that these black players also are lesbians most of the time. Again, I'm not here to judge whether you're lesbian or straight, but I'm just pointing out that if you're going to market the WNBA to people who are lesbians, I mean, a lot of people are just not going to follow that product whatsoever, because how can people relate to lesbians playing the game of basketball? The lesbian community is very small in this country, and obviously a lot of people are not going to sit up here and just naturally support lesbians or gays or transgenders or queer people or whatever they identify as, anything other than heterosexual. I know I'm a heterosexual male, but obviously for the people that aren't heterosexual, I guess that's who they're trying to market to, but that's not a smart strategy in the world of business. In the world of business, they don't care about racism. They don't care about being xenophobic. They don't care about being homophobic. They don't care about marginalized groups. The only thing they care about at the end of the day is the color green. What is the color green? It's about money. And at the end of the day, money is the bottom line that matters in the business world. And when you try to market black lesbians to sports fans, you're not going to get a lot of profits off of that sports league. If I'm the WNBA, I'm going to keep promoting Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark is a rootable basketball player. Yes, she does cry to the referees too much, but that's small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. As far as whether I expect Stephen A. Smith to stand his ground on the Monica McNutt debate, I highly doubt he is going to stand his ground on that debate because we all know Stephen A. Smith to be Stephen A. Simp at times. I fully expect Stephen A. Smith to issue an apology, which is absolutely stupid in my book because Stephen A. Smith was absolutely right on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. If anything, it should be Monica McNutt apologizing for the stupidity that she aired out on First Take. I thought Monica McNutt had several flawed reasonings for why Caitlin Clark really did not contribute that much to the WNBA, and she's out here talking about how Stephen A. Smith should have been covering the WNBA 3 years ago, but that wasn't really a profitable topic to talk about on First Take 3 years ago because 3 years ago, nobody cared about the WNBA whatsoever. The only players in the WNBA that were well known 3 years ago was Brittany Griner, and she was not being known for the right reasons. Everybody hated Brittany Griner as the face of the WNBA, and no wonder why the WNBA has been a poor business for 30 years because they keep marketing towards the wrong players and towards the wrong target audience. And when you do that, yeah, you're not going to generate profits whatsoever. In my honest opinion, the WNBA should have already been ceased to exist. They should already be considering it a gift that they are still existent to this day, because we all know that the NBA is giving the WNBA millions of dollars to even fund their league, because the WNBA should be long in debt and they should be broke at this point. They should have already had to shut down, but they should thank Adam Silver and the NBA for continuing to fund the WNBA, because without them, they would not not exist whatsoever. I mean, the reality of the situation is the WNBA is just a substandard product. I've seen better basketball being played at the YMCA compared to what I see on the television screen in the WNBA. These players can't dunk, they struggle to make layups, and most of them can't really make threes whatsoever. It's just not really an enjoyable product whatsoever. Like I've said though, I could just literally go to a park, play basketball, and I think we could see a more competitive and intense game than if I watched the WNBA, because it's just not a good product whatsoever. So that is why I agree with Stephen A. Smith on this debate topic, even though he acted too much like a simp to Monica McNutt towards the end of that segment on First Take. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinNasTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNasTran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNasTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.